Hello, it is I, Conqueror of Love. Speaking of love, love is a powerful source. It's an energy, really. Um, I think majority of the universe appreciates it, but it's very powerful. Something else that's very powerful is trust. Having trust between us. Very powerful source of energy. It's also a prominent theme in the movie I wanted to discuss my thoughts about, and maybe give like a letter grade to. Letter grade, number grades. I never know which way to go. Yeah, it's a prominent theme in the movie Raya and the Last Dragon. Disney movie, new. Recently saw it. I actually saw it two times, and I feel like the second time I noticed a lot more that I didn't notice the first time. Not major things, but some subtleties that I ended up appreciating quite a lot. And yeah, it's also technically a Disney princess movie. That's cool, but doesn't really dwell on that particular aspect of it. Yeah, so get right into it. I'm gonna start with some of the negatives, some things I kind of had my problems with. Actually, I'm gonna start with one big. I want to preface this part with one huge, tremendous, outstanding positive, which is Raya. Without a doubt, the character Raya, without a doubt, is my favorite Disney princess yet. She is so cool. She's so badass. She has her issues. She has her, insecurities, but she's such a badass. She's so cool, and she's confident. She's confident in herself. She walks her walk, and does her thing. But yeah, I want to start with some of the negatives of the movie. Some things I didn't like is, let's just start with the antagonistic force. It's not. I won't give any spoilers. I'll try to keep it as spoiler free as possible. But basically, the antagonist is it's this mist. It's this purple mist, and the way it wasn't given much depth. It was the explanation that was given to why it's a thing even was pretty whack in my opinion. And yeah, so that was one major disappointment for me is it just felt like nothing. It honestly felt like nothing. It didn't feel like that much of a threat either at some points. Most of the movie didn't feel like that much of a threat either whatsoever. So it wasn't as prominent as I would like it to have been, given the lack of depth given to it as a whole. It was honestly given like maybe 20, 30, 40 seconds of explanation, and that's about it. So I didn't, like that too much about it. I usually, when movies I really like, I tend to also like their antagonist. For example, Kung Fu Panda 2, the antagonist, the peacock motherfucker, I loved him. I thought he was so cool. I thought he was dope as fuck. But that's another time. That's neither here or there. I've never used that. But yeah. So I wasn't a fan of the antagonistic force, and the one thing this movie did, so the beginning of this movie was corny as fuck, and some things I don't really appreciate in movies, especially like Marvel movies and stuff, is honestly why I really appreciated WandaVision, is there were some corny moments, but it was shrouded in mystery, so it was kind of like, I was okay with it. But the beginning of this movie was really fucking corny, and the way that sort of what led to the events of the rest of the movie, it was pretty corny too. But honestly, something I appreciated within that is this. There's a couple of characters that end up tagging along with our main character Raya, obviously, along her journey to, not really save the world, but kind of. And one of the characters is a baby, which was in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler. It's a baby. It's just a smart ass baby. That was honestly, when I saw it, when I saw the baby, I rolled my eyes. I was like, oh fuck, it's corny fucking shit. But actually, no, completely wrong. The baby was honestly a highlight of the movie. It was great, super funny, not nearly as corny as I thought it was gonna be. I'm gonna use corny a lot, but not nearly as corny as I thought it would be. It was actually ended up being a really sweet character and played off of another character that ends up joining her crew very well. Um, not only directly but subtly as well. So yeah, there was a lot of corniness in the beginning, a lot of montage sequences, which I'm such a fucking sucker for, so I didn't mind, and I thought they were done pretty well. They looked nice, whatever. The when they were explaining the world, so they live in a place called Kumandra, this make believe whatever the fuck. They it was really hard to understand. It was like this flat, like I don't know if their Earth is flat, because it's so what it was is that it was all called Kumandra. Their world is called Kumandra, and so he's traveling from place to place within this world or whatever. And the movie's pretty long, but it's like she gets to place lickety quick, like So that was a confusing aspect about it, just the world in general, because I have a hard time suspending my disbelief on certain things like that for some reason. So it's probably honestly not that big of a deal. It's just something that bugged me. It was like, what the fuck? Like, is it a flat Earth? You see the movie, you might understand what I'm trying to say. And, yeah, and then some other that I really, the beginning was honestly probably the hardest part for me to watch, because just the way that all the events went down that ended up leading to the main plot of the story, it seemed really weak sauce. They seemed really corny, and the movie had a pretty long runtime. I want to say it was around 2 hours, or at least that's what it felt like, and it just felt like it skipped a bunch of beats. Like it just felt like it skipped a lot of emotional moments that it could have had. It felt like it skipped a lot of development. It just felt like things went by really fast for a longer movie, and that things weren't really expounded upon as I would have hoped, as I would have liked them to be. But onto the positives. What the fuck? Dismiss that. Onto the positives. The fuck? Onto the positives. So, like I said, Raya, amazing. The major theme of the movie, which was trust, it was really I want to say, if I had to use a word to describe it, it would be relevant. It was actually really relevant. The idea of trust and taking that first step to heal together was really nice, and I thought that was done pretty well. And another thing I really liked about the movie is some of the more, I don't want to say subtle, some of the more subtle nuances within the movie I really appreciated and I really enjoyed, and I noticed them a lot more the second time I watched it. Like, for example, there's this one big, hulky fucking character. I like that he's not so tropey. He's not that corny where it's like, he's actually just a sweet big guy. And for some reason, I won't spoil it, but for some reason, he and his family are not together. I'll just say that. And so when they pick up the baby, when he meets the baby, he kind of has a magnetism to those two characters have a magnetism to each other, because one's one's a father and it's not with their family, and one's a baby and not with her family. So the stuff like that I really enjoyed. Like you would often see him holding her more than any of the other characters, and stuff like that. And then also the Aquafina I thought she was really amazing in this movie. Her voice acting was amazing. Raya's voice acting was really good too. Oh my god, the biggest pro of this movie by far. Okay, maybe not the biggest. I don't want to trash on the the narrative, but the movie's music, the OSTs were absolutely bumping, especially in the beginning. Oh my god, they were so fucking good. Like they were giving me like almost like anime vibes, like maybe not. I want to say Naruto, but not Naruto. But it was just so fucking good, and I gotta add some to my playlist. I found a soundtrack on YouTube, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna add some. Yo, the soundtrack in the movie was, in my opinion, it was perfect for my taste. It was just godlike. Like it had my name written all over it. Like I loved it. Um, Also, one more negative I want to say about the movie is the. This is just a nitpick, but there was this one scene in the movie where they're in like this sort of like, uh, pickpocket black alley type of place, and some of the extras that were they had like different voice actors. You can just tell because of how outrageously damning it was. It wasn't like Ruby. I don't know if anyone knows what Ruby is, but it's pretty much an anime of sorts. It's on Amazon Prime. It's really good. Ruby, they had pretty trash voice acting, but because like everyone had that level of skill in the beginning of the show, it's not as damning or alarming really, um, because you kind of like grow with it, like you get used to it, and then you end up really fucking with it. But in this movie, there's this one part where you're hearing all this incredible voice acting. Aquafina again, it's just spectacular. Raya, amazing. Um, and then you just hear these extras coming out of nowhere, and the dip was so sudden and so fast in skill and in technique that it was almost alarming. But that was just a little nitpick, and it was honestly only lasted like 15 seconds, so I can't even really hate on it for that. But overall, I would want to give the movie. I mean, I'm gonna be. It's gonna be. It's gonna. I don't know if it will sound rough based off what I said. I want to give the movie a B minus. I really do. I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I really did. I really fucking like Raya. I think she's dope. The music was amazing. The subtleties in the movie were amazing. I definitely left some out that I noticed because there's just some. I don't want to like get into spoiler territory or ruin the movie for anyone. And it just had a lot of amazing things about the movie, but it just felt almost the movie just felt it almost felt incomplete in a way. Like it just felt like things were just happening. I don't know how to explain it. Like the entity that was the antagonist was so it was honestly they put it almost looked like they put it in one scene in the movie just so we could remember, oh, we're scared of this thing. It didn't at all feel like a presence within the movie until the very, very end. And then the repercussions of it were sad. They definitely led to a lot of development within our main cast of characters and why they act the way they do, which was very interesting. But overall, it never felt it didn't have like the fear factor or develop or depth that I would have liked it to have. And then not even just in the antagonist, the entity that is. Not even just in that, just the whole movie in general. It was a long movie, but it just felt like it didn't really stop at one place and breathe. It was constantly moving, like oh, we finished this checkpoint, onto there, and then they get done really quick, and there's slight development, and then it's like they just move to the next place, and then it's boom, 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 boom. So yeah, overall, I want to give it a B minus, but like I said again, Raya, I would give her an A for sure. I love Raya. She's amazing. She bomb. Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, Raya is amazing. Raya the Last Dragon, pretty good. And yeah, that's my video. Okay, bye.